Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today I will be doing a video of a Premier League table prediction. This won't be an official table, as we all know that transfer market is still open, but the Premier League is starting, so I think I might do a video first and then I'll do another one when the transfer market closes. As we all know, there are some teams that they are yet to buy some players, and I don't think there will be some big changes. I think only some minor changes. So yeah. So to start off in number 20, I think Fulham will be relegating. The thing is that when they last time came to Premier League, they spent 61 million pounds, and after match week 8, they were in the relegation spot and they never came out from there. This year, they've only spent 12 million, and if you look at that, I really think that they are not really looking forward to Premier League. They are playing the similar side that they did when they came up last time. So I won't be expecting much from them, and I think they will be relegating once again. Number 19, West Bromwich. I think this is actually a disappointment, I should say, if this really happened. The thing is that West Bromwich were mid-table team from 2010 to 2017. Only one time they finished number 17, I think, and then the rest of the 6 time they finish in a mid-table position, like a comfortable mid. So I think if they relegate this season, it's going to be very disappointment for them. The thing is that they've only bought 4 players, and there's no some like big players, I should say. There's no some big signing. So in all honesty, I don't think they are looking forward to Premier League as well. I think they're just trying to do an experiment, or maybe they'll do some last minute signing. I don't know. But the thing is that I think they're relegating, and it's going to be really disappointing for West Bromwich. But I don't think they will survive in Premier League this season. 18, I've gone to Crystal Palace. The thing is that they lost 7 games and drew 1 game in the last 8 games in Premier League last season. So the question will be, do they have momentum to start well? If they don't, and if they lose like 5 or 6 games in the first 8 or 9 games, I think they will be relegating. The thing is, you can really do experiment this season because of tight schedule. So fatigue is going to be the biggest issue. So if they really lose 5 or 6 games the early part of the season, I think they will be relegating. Number 17, I've gone with Aston Villa. The thing is, on paper, they are a side that they might get 12 or 11 in the table. But the thing is, the players are not performing. Yes, there's Grealish, who is the only player taking responsibility in Aston Villa. The other players, they all have some qualities, but the thing is, they're not performing, and they literally didn't perform the entire season until the last 2 or 3 games. So if they do the same thing, and with many teams have a chance to relegate, because the relegation battle is wide open this season, so it is going to be very costly. I think they might actually survive from relegation, but the thing is, same as Crystal Palace, if they don't pick up points at the right time, they will be relegating. 16 and 15 will be a very similar side and similar problem. 16, I've gone with Newcastle. The thing is, on paper, they have some really good players and they deserve to be in mid-table. But in all honesty, I don't think Newcastle are actually performing well. They have many good players. They brought in a Brazilian striker for 40 million pounds who only scored 2 goals in last season. This is a complete disappointment. And they have many similar players who do have similar problems. And at one stage, I thought they were going to be Premier League champion this season because of the Arabian who were planning to take over Newcastle and stuff like that. But unfortunately, that didn't happen, and I don't see them finishing higher than like number 12 or number 11. But for my prediction, I've gone to number 16. As I said, 16 and 15 will be similar teams, similar problem. West Ham, on paper, they are a good side. They can beat any team when they are at their best. We saw them beating Chelsea. That sum up how strong they are. The thing is, West Ham, they have very good qualities, and they can pick up points at the right time. But that too, just to avoid relegation. So if they continue with the same mentality, I think they will be finishing 15. I won't be expecting much from them. But in all honesty, on paper, once again, they are a very good side. I wouldn't be surprised if they finish a little bit higher. But for me, they will be number 15 because of their problem that players don't really perform, even though they have some really good players. 14, I've gone with Sheffield United. To be honest, this will be a disappointment if they really finish 14. But the thing is, I think they will be finishing number 14. They are a good side in terms of defensive, but they don't really score goals. And they were lucky enough that last season many good teams didn't perform well, so they can pick up some points. But if they play similar football and the other team brought in some good players, and if they don't bring in some good players, I won't be surprised if they will be finishing 14. And in all honesty, we've seen many teams that perform very well, and the next season, what we call second season syndrome, it might happen to Sheffield United, and I won't be surprised. The thing is, on paper, they are a mid-table team, and I think they will be finishing mid-table, and I think they will get a solid 14 in the table. 13, I've gone with Leeds United. Yes, there are many people that they're saying that Leeds United might actually finish top 10 and stuff like that. I think, in all honesty, this is possible. They are a very well drilled side in championship. They're performing very well, even though after winning the championship and officially confirmed they were going to Premier League and officially confirmed they were the champions, they still were playing very well. Like, they were playing with their heart. So I think they're a team that will give their best whenever they play. But the thing is, I don't think they will be finishing top 10 as we got Southampton, Wolves, Everton. I think they'll perform well this season. So I think they will get a solid 13, and I think it's reasonable, even though we've seen last 2 seasons, one of the promoted team do perform well. Last as 2 seasons ago, it was Wolves. Last season, it was Sheffield United. So I won't be surprised if Leeds United does that, but I think it might be a step too far for them at the moment. So I think they'll get a solid 13 this season. Number 12, I've gone with Brighton. The thing is, yes, on paper, they might not be a strong side, but I feel like the club, the management, they want to go a little bit forward. They've been finishing number 15, 17, and 15 the last 3 seasons, and this is their first 3 seasons in Premier League. So I feel like they want to stay in Premier League. They are now trying to bring in some young player and also signing some old players who can bring their experience to youngsters. Adam Lallana, he is a good signing. He is a Premier League champion, Champions League champion. And then they also got a defender from Ajax. Sorry, I forgot his name. He also got Champions League experience. So all this will help Brighton youngsters. And I won't be surprised if they finish number 12 and they are here to stay in Premier League for next 2 to 3 seasons, I think. Number 11, I've gone with Burnley. The thing is, they've been performing well last season, especially the back end of the season, even though many of the players were like injured and stuff like that. And I remember many of the players were playing out of their position. And I was really surprised that they still went on to play some really excellent football. So I won't be surprised if they play some similar football again this season. And I think 11 is a very good position for them, even though they can finish a little bit higher. But I think once again, Everton, Southampton, and those teams, I think they will be performing this season. So number 11 is a very reasonable spot for them. They can get a little bit higher, but once again, I think 11 will be their position at the end of the season. Number 10, Leicester City, and I think many of you will agree with me because they will have to play Europa League this season, and we all know that Europa League traveling distance is actually really very very long. So the thing is, it might actually make the players tired and fatigued and stuff like that, and they don't really have a big squad. So this season, we all know that the season will be tight. So I think Europa League might just take too much out of Leicester City, and they will be finishing number 10. I will be surprised if they finish once again top 6. I will be very surprised. Number 9, I've gone to Southampton. The thing is, last season I was a little bit disappointed with them at the start of the season, but they performed really well in the second half of the season, and I expect them to perform well this season once again. With the players like Danny Ings, he can like score a lot of goals. So I think this is a big plus for them. And I think number 9 is a reasonable position for them. Last season, the problem was they were like getting used to the tactics and stuff like that. And we saw what they did in the second half of the season when they get used to everything. So I won't be surprised if they finish number 8 or 7. But I think number 9 is a reasonable spot for them. Number 8, I've gone with Everton. On paper, they are a very good side and they deserve to be one of the top 7 team. But once again, like Wolves is a rising team, so I don't think they will go past Wolves. And I think number 8 will be reasonable for them. In all honesty, if you look at the squad, and if you think they're gonna get 8th position, I think it is a little bit disappointing because they do have a very good squad. And then in the past, I think 10 years they've been performing well, and they did finish like top 7, top 5, top 6, stuff like that. So I think they are a side that they do have some ability. And even this season, they have signed another good player from Napoli, which is Allen for £22 million. So once again, they did a very good player signing, and I think he is a good signing. But once again, we all know that whenever a player go to Everton, they'll completely don't perform and stuff like that. And that's why I think number 8 position is a little bit disappointing for a team like Everton. But this is what I expect from them. They're gonna finish number 8, and if things goes wrong again, like how it did last season, they might finish a little bit bottom, like number 10 and 11 again. As I think number 8 to number 12 position will be very tight this season. So I think if they don't perform well, they'll simply go to number 12 again this season. Number 7, I've gone with Wolves. And I won't be surprised if they finish number 6 or number 5. The thing is, the top 16 that I'm going to predict, they will all play European football next season. And as I said in this video so many times, the schedule will be very tight. So I won't be surprised if Wolves finish a little bit higher because of a top 6 team that I'm going to predict they might suffer fatigue. So, and then the injuries problem will be the biggest concern because the tight schedule might really injure some players. So I think that Wolves do have a really good chance to go top 6 or top 5 this season. And I think top 5 is max for them. And I think number 8 is minimum for them. But for my prediction, I'll go with 7. And I think Wolves will be signing a couple of more players, I think. They've already did 2 signing, one from Lyon and one from, I think, a Portugal club. I forgot the young star. So I really think Wolves might finish number 6 or number 5. But it is all going to depend on the team that are playing European football. Number 6, I've gone with Tottenham. And I won't be surprised if things goes wrong for Tottenham and they finish a little bit lower. Yes, they were lucky enough that last season when Harry Kane came back in and then they start picking up point and then they went past Wolves. And they were lucky enough that Wolves didn't draw against Chelsea. If they did, I think Wolves were supposed to play European football, and Tottenham were supposed to miss out on that. But yeah, and then the thing is, the injury concern for Tottenham is the biggest issue. We all know Harry Kane and Dele Alli, they got injured last season. If this happened again this season, I can tell you Tottenham will really suffer this season because of the tight schedule. And we all know that Tottenham don't really have a big squad. So this will be the reason why I think Tottenham will be struggling this season. If they finish 6th, I think it's already good enough for them. If they finish 5th and 4th, I think it's a big achievement for them. But I think they should really focus on Premier League more than Europa football. Well, I just realized they can get to Champions League football if they win the Europa League. But the thing is, I don't think Tottenham will be risking with that. The thing is, if you risk with Europa League and then your team don't really have a big squad, I think Tottenham will struggle. But yeah, it's all going to depend on them, what they are going to do. So for me, they will finish 6th. 5th, I've gone with Arsenal. They were busy in transfer market, and I think they did brought in some good players. And they should be finishing 5th or 6th. But for my prediction, I'll put them for 5th. If they finish lower than 6th, I think they will be very disappointing. And I think Arsenal will have to play the Europa League qualification round. So they have a decision to make that. Should they risk the Europa League or should they just focus on Premier League? I think if they focus on Premier League, they might actually have a chance to finish 4th. But if they also play Europa League, and play Premier League football, then I think fifth will be a very good position for them, and I don't think Arsenal fan will be disappointed with that. So yeah, for me, Arsenal will be finishing fifth. Fourth, I've gone with Manchester United. On paper, they are a very good side, but if you look at Liverpool, Chelsea, and Manchester City, their team is much stronger than Manchester United. I won't be surprised if they finish third, or I think third will be max for them. If they get second, I will be really surprised. But I think they will be finishing fourth, as I just mentioned. The other three teams, they do have a very good team. Even though Manchester United do also have a good team, but I think they do have a centre back problem, and I don't know how are they gonna deal with that. And they're struggling to sign a player, but I'm pretty sure Manchester United will sign a couple of players by the end of the transfer market, and a couple of big players, I should say. Number three, I've gone with Chelsea. I wouldn't be surprised if they finish a little bit higher, like second or first. But the thing is, I think they will still need some time to settle down with the new team, because there are many players moving in, so they will need some time to adjust, and the tactics, and like there are many things. So I still think Chelsea might need a little bit of time, maybe a month or two. But afterward, I think they will be a very dangerous side, and I won't be surprised if they go close to top three, like a 5 point gap or 10 point. I think 10 point gap will be too far. I think 5 point gap, I won't be surprised with top two. So I think Chelsea will actually go very close this season, and I'm really buzzing for this team. As I said in my previous video, this team is good enough to win Premier League, but they might need a little bit of a time. So yeah, Chelsea is third for me. Number two, I've gone with Manchester City. The thing is, they are a good side on paper, but I think they have a little bit more issues compared to Liverpool. So that's why I think they will get second. And their biggest two issue is their defensive, and their tactics. Because their defender do get sloppy during the game, and then they give away a goal, and which make them hard to come back in the game. And we saw that many times last season. Also against Norwich, similar thing happened. So you can say that how Manchester City can struggle when opponents score against them. And then the second issue is tactics. This is my personal preference. I think it is time to change tactics, because they've been using the same tactics for many years. And if a team do study the tactics properly, I think they can play good football against them. And we all know that if you play counter-attack football against Manchester City, and that's actually the best way. We've seen few sides winning by playing the counter-attack football. So that's why I think Manchester City do have these two problems, and if they fix that, I won't be surprised if they go close to first, or they might actually win Champions League, Premier League. And for champion, I've gone with Liverpool. To be honest, Liverpool do have a very good attack, and they do have very good defenders as well, and a very good goalkeeper. But the only problem that concerns me is their form. They're not playing some decent football. But as this happened last season as well, the start of season they were struggling in their friendly games, and then when the season started, they just run away. Even though their worst day was a narrow win. So I expect them to do something similar, as we all know that Manchester City are mostly a little bit slow to start every season. And Chelsea, I think they will need some time to settle down with the players. I think 1 month maybe. So I think Liverpool do have a chance to run away, as they are playing similar team, and I think they will play some similar football as well. But I think tactic wise they will do some adjustment, I think, because the tactic that they're using recently isn't really working. So I'm pretty sure the manager will come up with something else. And other than that, I don't really think Liverpool do actually have a problem. In all honesty, the top three is actually for anyone. You can even put Manchester United in if they solve out their defensive problem. But at the moment, I think it is between these three teams, and I think Liverpool are a little bit more likely to win, and I think they will be winning back-to-back titles for Premier League. And I will be doing my week one prediction also very soon, so stay tuned for that as well. I think I'll release that on Thursday or maybe Friday. So yeah, stay tuned for that, and please give a big thumbs up to my channel, and please share your prediction as well. And yeah, please subscribe to my channel, and bye bye.